Well, if I'm going to use the bail, I need to make it just a little bit longer. So I'm going to add this chip of gold in there. We're going to slide it into the crotch of the bail. Good connection. We'll go ahead and trim it. Just trim that down, cut it off, and then go ahead and cut the radius a bit more to get it to have a nice flow. All right, that looks pretty good. You know, I'm going to go with that upside down. Of course, it's not upside down, but it has a kind of a phoenix look now rather than the squash blossom look. Okay, time to pre-polish the little pieces that go inside of the design because I'm not going to be able to get to them later to polish them. So I polished the bail, and that's ready to go. Now I go in and go ahead and polish the prong head setting for the stone. Now I need to go in and polish up all this inside area here because once that prong head goes in, I'm not going to be able to get to a lot of this stuff. So we're just going to clean up just this area around here and this area here and that area around there. And the key here is not to go in and clean up the whole thing because when I weld it back up, I'm going to have to go back in and clean it up. And you don't want to get this part thinner. So you really only want to clean it once. You know, file it and then smooth it down and then polish it. We've got our head set up. We've got a little chip of solder in there. We're ready to heat everything up and bring it to temperature. I've notched the bail. You can see the two little stingy notches right on each side of that. And that's so it's going to fit right into the, you'll see it go right into the groove where the prong head, one of the prong head arms is. That's a major extra step to do this, but I'm going to weld that little bar across those two prongs because what's going to happen is when I put the bail in and try to weld it to the bottom of that, it's that end piece is going to collapse on me. So the bar across the two prongs is kind of hold it in place while I go ahead and do the welding. Okay, all the welding's done. It's time to go in and do the finish work, which means hours of filing and sanding and polishing. So this slow, careful process of flat filing these surfaces in order to get all of the entire arch to show up without any divots or ripples. Takes a long time, but it's worth it. And actually, for me, this is the funnest part because this is the finish, and all the design work's been done, and all of the hard welding and fitting and everything's been done, and now it's just kind of a mindless moving through the piece and working the surface. You can see there that the file marks have really smoothed it out nicely. There's a bunch of places where I can't get to with the file, so I'm going to have to come in with the little disc grinder, and go ahead and just clean those up as best I can. I'm not going to get a real straight edge, but you do get a fairly straight edge if you're careful. Okay, we've done all the flat filing. We've come in with the disc sander, and we've gotten all the little tight spots that you couldn't get to it with the file. Now it's time to come back in with the flat sander, little sanding board, and that'll take care of getting rid of the scratches out of the surface here. And these two surfaces are probably the most important to get perfectly smooth and nice and round. Okay, as you can see, the sanding board has gotten this down much better. Now we're going to look at the back because I haven't done the back yet, and you can see all the scratches from the file. But then the sanding board takes all the scratches out. That's 400 grit paper. So we've gotten everywhere except down in this little area right here, which we can't get in there with the sanding board. I'll have to go in with a special piece of sandpaper and just kind of carefully work it out. Okay, now I'm down to the very tightest little spots, and I come in with a little Kratex wheel here. And grind all those little dinky spots away and make them reasonable. Now, everything underneath here is really going to be covered by the stone, but just in case I come in and clean up all of at least the roughness, just in case something accidentally shows, and you can never really tell